What is up everybody, my name's LeakyTapsMan and this is another This Week in Gaming where I bring you up to date with everything going on in the world of video games. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, I know I did, and apologies for no Twig last week, but it was Christmas Eve and there was basically no news anyway, so I thought I'd give myself and everyone else a week off. And actually this week as well, not a great deal has happened in the world of video games, but the stuff that has happened is quite significant, or at least this next one is, very much so. And that is that THQ has filed for bankruptcy. Now THQ, a massive company, they have a lot of big IPs, notably Saints Row, Darksiders, Metro I believe is theirs, the WWE games, so they have some huge titles under their belt. And basically this whole thing derived from the fact that they made this U-Draw tablet, which is, it's kind of like the Wii U controller I guess, without the actual screen. It's more like a touchpad that you see on a laptop. It was kind of like that. Anyway, THQ ploughed a lot of money into this, I believe it was around $100 million, and basically the thing flopped so badly that it was just an unmitigated disaster, and it lost THQ so much money, to the point where they haven't really recovered, obviously. The salient facts are these: THQ's operations are still running as normal, so the likes of Saints Row 4 and WWE 14, they're still going to come out. As of yet, no one's lost their jobs, so that's great news. All of their assets are up for sale, however, so basically another company can swoop in and own the rights to all those games that I mentioned, which leads me on to my next news piece, which is that supposedly Ubisoft are in the running for this, and it's their intention to basically buy THQ out. Now I'd be quite happy with this, I've got a lot of time for Ubisoft, I think they're one of the better big companies, so there are definitely worse guys that THQ could sell to. But on the whole, it's just not great news. I mean, THQ have really suffered just for one bad mistake, but largely on the whole, their business practice has been quite good. So it's a shame to see, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. If Ubisoft do buy them out, then it's not the end of the world. It's something you don't like to see as a fan of the industry. Okay, there's been some rumours about both of the next-gen consoles this week, and specifically surrounding the next Xbox. Now this has come from the same source that revealed a Kinect 2.0 image back in August, where he basically revealed some more stats about the device, how it would detect up to 4 players this time, and it would detect depth and all this extra stuff. Anyway, this same guy has said that the Xbox 3 is now in beta development, and that dev kits are now being sent out again to developers. Apparently this thing is codenamed Kryptos, and it is going to be revealed at a special Microsoft-held event rather than E3 or TGS or anything like that, which I guess in itself is plausible, seeing as Microsoft like to take centre stage rather than share it with the likes of Sony and Nintendo. As for the PlayStation 4, it's been rumoured this week by Examiner that Sony are going to persist with the Cell processor. Now this is the CPU that's in the PlayStation 3, and it's quite a divisive piece of technology, mainly because it's really quite difficult to program for, supposedly, and developers had a terrible time trying to figure it out, but on the flip side, it's insanely powerful when it works right. Now it's no secret that Sony haven't been performing too well, especially their gaming division in the last few years, and they just simply haven't got the money to fund new research for an amazingly better processor. Supposedly, I don't really know this personally. Not in any great detail anyway, but they reckon that due to the fact that developers are starting to understand the Cell architecture a lot better towards the end of this generation, they've had, 6 years with the technology, they're of the inclination that they can basically make the transition to next gen and it won't be that much of a hiccup. Which is sound logic in theory, but it does leave question marks over how much of a progression next gen is going to be. I don't know if the PlayStation 4 can make that big of a leap if it's keeping some of the same technology, but I'm no techie expert, so we'll all have to wait and see with this, I guess. And to cap things off, some news about Tomb Raider this week, which I found quite interesting, is that the upcoming game, just simply called Tomb Raider, is going to be introducing a multiplayer mode for the first time in the series' history. There have been no concrete details, so I don't know if this is co-op or competitive multiplayer, but they said this was largely down to the fact that the Guardian of Light game was so well received, and the co-op mode was, so I'm going to assume that this is co-op. I personally am not of the belief that Tomb Raider particularly needs a multiplayer mode of any kind, but I'm not going to discredit it straight away. Guardian of Light was a very good game. If done correctly, I'm sure it could be fantastic. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts actually on Tomb Raider getting multiplayer. And that summarises everything that's gone on this week in the world of video games. Certainly not a massive amount, there never really is at this time of year, it's just the way things go. As for this week, I will do the giveaway results and that will probably be it until the next T.W.I.G. Beyond that even further, I've got a commentary topic which I'd like to do, and that is basically a summary of this gen as a whole. This might be split up into a few parts, but basically a summary of like the good, the bad, the ugly, etc. Looking at all three consoles, and a look into the future as well. And that's something that I'm quite interested in doing. Resistance 4 wishlist. I know I keep saying this, but it's going to get done at some point, I just don't know when. But it's coming. So a huge thank you for watching, thanks for all your continued support, and goodbye.